It's about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when the alarm went off for a vessel that was taking on water about 230 miles west of Clearwater.
When the alarm went off, they said over the intercom that it was a vessel taking on water, and it had 12 people on board.
Original thought for us was to go ahead and just take some dewatering pumps to get on scene and help out with the dewatering efforts.
Before we even got the helicopter started up and ready to go, they told us that the vessel had sunk. Get rid of both pumps from the aircraft and get ready to take on 12 people.
For us, I mean, it turns into, okay, they should be okay by the time we get there, but oh no, now they're in the water. They probably don't have any survival gear, they have life rafts, which is great. They have flares, which is great, but it's cold that night. It was January in the Gulf. It still gets pretty cold up there in the north, so we were worried about their well-being and hypothermia.
One of the big concerns we had was with the distance offshore, having enough fuel to make it out there and make it back. It was far enough offshore that to fly the 203 miles out, spend about an hour hoisting, and then fly back to land. We didn't have enough fuel to make it back to Clearwater, and en route we learned that there was actually an oil rig about 50 miles away from where the boat had gone down that had a helipad that could handle a helicopter and had a couple thousand pounds of fuel available for us.
We took off out of the air station. We headed towards the known position of the boat. On the way there, we just discussed weather on scene. We talked about what we would anticipate doing once we got on scene, how we were going to conduct our hoists.
The visibility was very poor. We had night vision goggles, which require ambient light to actually work, and typically the stars and the moon provide enough light, but that night we had a solid overcast layer, and it was nothing. It was still pitch black looking through the night vision goggles.
The weather was, the seas were about 20 foot, I believe, is what I heard. They ranged from 15 to 20. That makes it very difficult, especially for the swimmer swimming into them, and just getting my position where I lay the basket in the water. That altitude changing with the water going up and down, it just kind of takes a lot of technique.
There was diesel fuel in the water. As soon as we got on scene, we could smell that from the air. Started picking people out of the raft and swimming with them. As I started to swim away from the raft, I noticed I wasn't going anywhere. The rafts were being blown and brought by the seas as fast as I could swim. After the 7th guy, and they brought me up into the helicopter, I was glad to be there. My legs were pretty well exhausted.
When we picked up the first 7 and the second helicopter rescued the last 5. So it was a pretty good feeling to be able to help these guys out. It's definitely out of the norm for what we get in Clearwater. So it was a big deal, at least in our minds. And most of the air station came out to greet us, so that was a pretty cool event.
A rescue like this kind of makes joining the Coast Guard well worth it. It's what we joined the Coast Guard to do: save lives, help people in need.
We always think about the people that are down there. That's what we're here for. Those are the people that we do our job for, to bring them back.
Please welcome tonight's awardees from Air Station Clearwater: Lieutenant Commander Gary Scott, Lieutenant J.G. Tyler Mons, AMT-2 Paul Turner, and AST-2 Michael Salter.